Alright, hello guys, I'm the Nerd Patrick and welcome to a live stream. This one is sort of like similar to another one that I've done, which was Trick and Treat. So this time I found a new visual novel for you guys. So this is basically the visual novel. It is called Everlasting Summer if you haven't read the description, and we're just gonna go play it. I actually haven't experienced any of this. I was having that dream once again. That dream. Same thing every night, but it's all forgotten in the morning, as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of a memory will remain, of gates, half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by. And also, that strange girl, who keeps asking me, "Will you come with me? Come? But where? And why? And where am I, anyway?" Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. What else would one expect to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real as things in my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hands, and hail the fresh, cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream, I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? Because here, it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates! She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over I was called a tittle? But the dot over a J was called a superscript dot. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellanic clouds, as if it ended up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are the small things that catch your attention, an unnatural color of glass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. As natural, since here you cannot die. I know for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point of living? I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. Yes, exactly. I should ask her about the owl, for example. One strange bird it is. Though, it doesn't matter. Will you come with me? Every time I have to answer. It's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end, and I will never wake up. I'll come with you. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much of my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. This is weird! I don't know what's going on. What's that? It's blurry, I know that for certain. Oh, it's keyboard. Vision blurry. What's that? Dude, put some glasses on. What? What? What is this? What is he even looking at? Art of Stephanie from the computer screen stared at me as if I was alive. What are you? Bad touch. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and textile. I don't know what that is. There is some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simple creations of its sick imagination, an error in the source code or a kernel bug, which started living a life of its own. What's that? I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Oh, it's a chandelier. Oh, okay. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophilistic, I don't know that word, diagnosis, and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. Oh, lovely, loony bin. Hi, that's bright. Sort of like the sun that's piercing through my window at the moment. He even opened his curtains, good on him. A small apartment with no signs of repair, or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out the world on the grey megalopolis, running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Well, of course it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school and finished it, like all the others. I was accepted at a university, where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it wasn't working out quite well. Sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. I wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looping over and over and monotonous circles, like in the movie Groundhog Day. It's just it's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. This dude must be depressed somehow. I don't know though. Oh, pardon me. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there was menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, no age. So, in brief, a typical life of quite typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. Maybe some highly respected author there you go, author will write a novel about me, and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Write one myself, or I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times, but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw, programming, got bored. Foreign languages takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still, I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. That's me! If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person, and a richer person too. But I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. Oh, that looks cold. Doesn't help that it's like half winter here. Today was another typical day of typical failures, typical life. So many typicals. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What is the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch other than through the internet. Looks cold outside, bruh. Looks cold outside. Aye, what's that? Is that like the moon beaming down on this? Oh, that's cold. Is that me? Is that the person there? Yeah, looks like it. Got a bit of a beard. Got an antisocial here. What's this? What is this? A frosty evening. Bus stop. Waiting. I never liked winter. I love winter. It's just too cold. Though hot summer is not my season either. Yeah, I know autumn is my favorite season. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much what the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. The bus today was running so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business. But where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I should try freelancing. But what skills do I have, and who would want me after all? Anime girls. No, never mind. I suddenly remembered my childhood. Or rather, my teen years. The time when I was 15, 17 years old. That's me! Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then, everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I was always eagerly looking forward to the weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for things I liked. Computer, football, stuff like that. Going out with friends, yeah, no, I don't do that. And then, at the beginning of next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there were no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person, and so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth to discuss and how to attract her? Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. But where could I meet one anyway? At the reunion? Maybe? There's the bus. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, though. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410s run this route. And he enters the bus. Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. But those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune. The driver's radio was playing but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by, through the fogged up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you only see impenetrable darkness. This is like super depressing. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. Don't fall asleep. My eyes closed for a moment, and then... You were back inside the dream! I bet you that's what's gonna happen. It's like super... Day 1. Day 1? What is this, Five Nights at Freddy's, the visual novel? No. Oh, the bus. Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention, as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn, looks like I missed my sleep-in. I fell asleep and missed my stop, but there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it was a good old worn-out Liaz. Instead of the bus I was an Icarius model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapping myself painfully in the face a few times, banging my forehead on the back of one of the bus's seats. It's clear. Either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then what? Did they put me onto another bus? I rushed out, took a look around. Greenery. Wherever I looked, tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer? But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if I was going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. What is going on? What? Huh? A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping. But then how can I remember all that? And then, a gap. Some girl leant over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. Oh! I'm getting bad feelings. Then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little bit. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction which the bus had probably came. What on earth? Physical exercise does not refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer. Oh, okay, I misread it. Sorry, guys. But it doesn't to me. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat from gulping breaths of hot air. That's me. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though, recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that it was winter yesterday, and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot. Not over here, but here everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it's taken from a painting of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. The grass is just too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them, like tree tops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's so last century. Must have reached the top of no return. After which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods. But this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. Oh, I should carefully scout the area. A brick wall and its gates crowned with a outlet sign. Statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage on the walls. Outlet. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I can try and make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contacts list. but instead of signal strength, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, my babe, there may be no signal in such a remote place, though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint and worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself. Sporadically, I don't know that word, because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Gonna wake up in reality? No? Okay. Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its half-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit, as if terror and fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy, oh wow, let's playing up was just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course the blood was still pounding in my temples, and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there's nothing I can really change anyway, so no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appeared. Until some actual facts appear, not appeared, there is really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything but by lounging about here. This camp, if of course it is really a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there, and hardly had reached to the gates when a girl came out from behind them. Oh, hello! Wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. That voice crack. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. Then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place. Far from this bus, gate statue, and as far from this bloody bird with its ceased. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into vestigial radiation, turning to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. Uncomfortable. Hey, she's kinda big. Where's the small ones? I couldn't help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. No beauty here. Human instincts won't work independent of conscious. consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular, ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia. Though my thoughts appeared by one, being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky soft-cover crime fictional book. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. You reply, yeah. Alright then, welcome. Why is she looking? She smiled broadly. Strange, it looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah, I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seem much better. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human? Or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with the gruesome contents of my skull. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and knees started to tremble. And nothing. Great then. Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with that all. Forget about the bus behind me. The fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that all this is actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look, you go straight behind to the square, then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates, as if I knew what was behind them. Okay. Well, you can ask someone where Ogla Dmitrievna's cabin is. Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I've got to go now. La-di-da-di-da. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. And all the show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me. Well, everything here is just the way it's supposed to be. Camp leader? Pioneer uniform? Are they doing a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in the square. Oh, pardon me. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. Alright then. The sign near the door said, Clubs. Of course it's Russian because it's a Russian game. I was about to come closer. Aye, woman! Why are they big? Why are they big? Where's the little short ones? When the door suddenly opened, a short girl wearing a pioneer uniform came out. Oh, she's short, but she's big. Her pretty face gave me the impression of one suffering for the fate of the whole mankind, a truly universal sorrow. Pretty? Pretty. Okay, so this is what pretty looks like. Ah. Alright, then. I see what's going on. Alright. Alright. Okay, bye. As soon as she saw me, the girl froze, as if frightened. I froze too, considering what was the best to do. To approach first? Wait until she showed me some initiative. Or maybe run away after all. Although this last option was constantly being suggested only by my self-preservation instinct. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Not the worst human instinct, but far from the most logical. As if instinct played poker against deductive abilities, the outcome will be predetermined. and those abductive abilities, or at least their semblance, were hinting to me that there was no need to be afraid of this girl. There you go. Suddenly, somebody jumped over out of nearby bushes. We have a lolly. We officially have a lolly. Hey! Hey! A girl wearing a bright red t-shirt with USSR written on it. Says CCP. CCCP. Such a perfect reproduction of the age. She looked quite short from a distance, and was probably younger than both pioneer girls. The one at the gates and this girl at the door of the clubs. At last I decided to come closer, but the USSR, as I called her in my mind, jumped towards the first girl and started telling her something while wildly waving her arms. The other girl, in turn, seemed confused and lowered her gaze, remaining silent. I would have probably continued to observe their amusing dialogue, but the USSR suddenly pulled something out of her pocket and started waving it in front of the first girl's face. This something turned out to be a grasshopper. The first girl squealed. She must not be too keen on insects, as she instantly shoved towards the place where Lenin presumably made his speech about the workers' and peasants' revolution. That is to say, towards the square. USSR glanced at me, grinning playfully, and dashed after her. Not a bad start to the day. I absolutely have no clue where I am. Besides that, there are some kids here role-playing as pioneers. And as far as I can tell, this place is located thousands of kilometers away from my home. It might even be a different reality. And this was indeed a reality. I mean, everything around me seemed so real, as if a little embellished, that I was starting to think that, in fact, my previous life could have been just a dream. And what am I supposed to do now? I was picking at the cracked paving stones with my shoe and stared aimlessly at the club's building. Just few more seconds before I have to come up with some decision. That's when I recalled myself rolling on the grass, weeping. I cringed in disgust. Perhaps it's another instinct. When all energy for whimpering and self-pity is used up, the body either goes into hibernation or mobilizes its reserve. Mine seems to have chosen the second opinion, the second option, because out of the blue, I found determination to figure out what was going on. And in order to do that, I had to act like a man, like a human, to maintain the dignity of a representative of my own world. I followed the path to the left, on the right side of which stood small cabins, apparently the homes of the local pioneers. Actually, they looked quite cozy from the outside. Even though I was born in the Soviet Union, I had never been part of its children's organizations, neither the pioneers nor even the younger October children. I imagined the daily life of a typical pioneer camp a bit differently. Huge barracks with long rows of metal bunks. Wake-up call at 6 o'clock, played by a siren. 1 minute to make your bed. Then joining the formation at drill square. Or wait, could I be confused with something else? Suddenly something struck me on the back. I staggered but remained on my feet, turned around and prepared to fight heroically for my life. Ah, right then! But all I found was another girl standing before me. Clothes, please put on. My mouth hung open in surprise. Pick your jaw up off the ground. I closed my mouth. The same pioneer uniform, but the way she was wearing it looked very provocative. Agreed. Like all the girls I had met here before, this one was rather cute. But her overly arrogant expression killed any desire to get to know her better. New here, are you? Fine. See ya. She threw a threatening glance at me and walked past. I waited for the pioneer girl to turn at the corner. Who knows what else she might have been up to. The most interesting thing that even this hostile girl seemed completely normal to me. She did not give off the feeling of some deadly danger, except maybe the danger of getting punched in the nose. At least I managed to make it to the square. There was no linen on an armored car, although one could easily expect something like that after all this had happened. Instead, however, a monument to a certain comrade towered in the middle of the square. The letters of the pedestal read, "Agenda." Must be some big future in the party. There were some small benches at the sides. It's quite pleasant here. Where did the girl tell me to go? To the left or to the right? To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. And why am I going there anyway? Ah, right. I've decided to pretend to be normal. So, to the right. Alright, through a small grove. I came out at a pier. I must have taken a wrong turn. Hey, wrong way. I turned towards the voice. Right then. Okay, alright, we've embraced that part. That first girl stood before me. Put some clothes on! Now, what did I tell you? Take a lift at the square, wasn't it? She had changed from her pioneer uniform into a bikini. Oh, I still haven't introduced myself. My name's Slavia. Actually, my full name's Slavania. But everyone calls me Slavia. So you can too. I'm trying to keep my... yeah. I still felt a bit confused, so I could not come up with more meaningful answer. And what's your name? It felt like she could see right through me. Yeah. Semyon. Nice to meet you, Semyon. Stop playing with the hair, woman! I can tell she's the main girl. Alright, I'm almost done here. Could you wait here for a minute? I'm going to change, and we'll go to Olga Dmitrievna together. Agreed? Agreed. After this exchange, she ran off. I sat on the pier and let my feet hang into the water. I was wearing heavy winter boots, but in such weather, there was nothing wrong in getting my feet wet. Furthermore, it let me cool myself a little bit. Looking at the river, I was brainstorming and processing everything that has happened. If this is some kind of conspiracy, it's a weird one, even too friendly at times. No, it really looks like a random event. Some entirely incomprehensible random event. Shall we go? She beckoned some clothes. Good. Slavia was standing beside me, dressed in the pioneer uniform again. Let's go. I've been here for a very short time, but all of the people I've met, she looks the least suspicious. However, this fact is already suspicious itself. We walked into the square. Oh, it's little Lolly and yeah. The USSR girl and the girl who hit me on the back of the head were there, chasing each other. Is that some kind of game they're playing? Ilyana, enough running. I'll tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna. Aye, Captain. I decided not to question Slavia for a while about what was going on or the local residents. Better meet with this mysterious Olga, I still can't pronounce it. Olga Dmitrievna first. Sounds like she's the boss here. Or he. We walked past the rows of almost identical cabins, some of which looked like fat beer barrels, while others looked more like household sheds. Finally, Slavia stopped in front of a smallish one-story cabin. It looked like an artist's painting. The faded paint chipping here and there with age, or sparkling in the sun. The window shutters, slightly ajar, I don't know, were swaying almost unnoticeably in the wind. and huge lilac bushes were growing at the sides. It seemed as if this ramshackle hut was drowning in a storm of purple silk, and the lilacs, like some elemental force, were inexorable destroyed the troops' leader's house. "What are you standing around for? Let's go!" Slavia snapped me out of my daydream. "And stop teasing Lena already." Hi there, Rena! Sounds like there's someone inside. Indeed, a moment later the door swung open and Ilvana ran out and dashed past the same mischievous grin. Oh, that scared me. My heart's actually racing. The pigtail girl came out next. "Don't let it bother you, Lena." So her name is Lena. Gotta be thankful it's not Rena, at least. "But I don't." Instead of finishing her sentence, she blushed and quickly headed towards the square. For some reason, I felt like turning and following her with my eyes, but Silviana said, "Come." We entered the cabin. Inside it looked something similar to what I imagined: 2 beds, a table, a couple of chairs, a simple carpet on the floor, a wardrobe. Nothing special, but at the same time, it felt homelike and cozy, although this room is mostly the same state of disorder as its own flat. The girl standing near the window appeared to be about 25 years old. 25? So that's what anime girls look like at 25. Alright, I'm gonna stick with lollies. Nature had obviously gifted her with a pretty face and a good body. Jesus, man! At least one thing can keep you happy in this pandemonium. The locals are beautiful. "You're finally here. Excellent. My name is Olga Dmitrievna. I'm the camp leader. Nice to meet you. I'm Semyon." I decided to talk as if it wasn't surprising by anything that was going on. She came closer. "We've been expecting you since early morning." "You've been expecting me?" "Yes, of course." "When does the next bus come? And why do you need it?" "Yeah, right. Why do I need it?" Guess I shouldn't ask directions. The people here may react to them quite unlike how I prefer. I doubt I'd get any answers. The reason? Just curious. By the way, where are we exactly? Our mailing address, I mean. I wanted to send a letter to my parents to tell them I got here fine. For some reason, I had the desperate idea that if I played along, I would find something out. "Oh, but your parents just called just half an hour ago. Sent their regards to you." "No, that's a surprise." "So, can I call them? 'Cause I forgot to tell them something before I left." "No." Something bad's gonna happen. I've got a feeling something bad's happening. The guy doesn't know who's there. Yeah, bad feelings going on. She gave a sweet, spontaneous smile. "Why not? Don't mind me, just..." "Why not? We don't have a phone here." "Yeah? Okay. Yep." Alright, okay. So that's all I'm gonna be doing today, so yeah, I guess I'll see you guys around. You get to see a nice view. If you're male, you get to see a nice view before you leave. Not a nice view for me, because I actually prefer the shorter ones. Hey, Stacy. But anyway guys, see ya!